Kinsey Schofield here. Welcome to Crown and Conflict, a series dedicated to dissecting the most riveting royals, the defining book on Meghan Markle's very brief history as a working royal. Revenge is a forensic assessment of Meghan's character and her
trouble finding a lady to marry. Harry was desperate to marry. Harry was desperate to have love, to marry, have children. Harry was desperate to replicate what...
Remember when Meghan said she loves telling her truth? Oh, how adorable, right? Except, apparently, her truth comes with fine print, some years not included. Check back later. Never. Because, oh boy, the things we didn't know about that truth might just make your jaw drop.
Go somewhere where she'd appear cheap and give it gratis. And this year, she is desperate to be seen.
Yeah.
And that's why
They always painted Meghan Markle's story like a literal fairy tale. The hard-working California girl, the Hollywood dreamer, who magically rose from obscurity to become a duchess. It sounds perfect, right? Almost too perfect. And you know what they say about things that sound too perfect? They usually are.
An awful lot. And there are other people who've had relationships like that and they have worked.
So about that mysterious gap year of hers, you know, the one that's always brushed off like, oh, Meghan was just traveling and soul-searching. Cute, except insiders, and we're talking real insiders, say Chicago. And suddenly that story of backpacking across Europe starts to sound less like a travel diary and more like a cover-up.
Very impassioned, and I'm being polite because I could use rather more pejorative words.
And here's where it gets deliciously messy. The Giuliano family. Old school Italian-American, traditional, private, and loyal to a fault. The kind of family that puts family first and fame dead last. They've got that old world code. Loyalty, silence, secrets. The kind of people who can bury a story so deep you'll never find it again.
he was better up, and all these commercial deals are declining. I think that his reputation...
And oh, the gossip that refuses to die. During that so-called missing year, Meghan wasn't wandering through Europe. Nope, she was in Chicago and tied quite literally to one Joe Giuliano.
For instance, William and Catherine have a relationship like that. You know, I mean, loving any princess.
Now, was it love, rebellion, or just a teenage fling that went way too far? Whatever it was, it apparently exploded into something much bigger. Reports whisper it wasn't just romance, it was a secret teenage marriage. Yep, you heard that right, Meghan Markle, married as a teen.
And I think Invictus is his only lifeline, and there'll be problems with that too.
I mean, we've seen people leaving Invictus recently.
Think about that for a second. While her high school friends were filling out college applications and daydreaming about dorm life, Meghan may have been walking down the aisle. Not a glitzy Hollywood one, but a quiet, hidden one. In a family that didn't exactly vibe with her fame-hungry dreams.
Sir Pivot, because that's what I was like, oh my God, oh no. I mean, they're spokespeople.
Absolutely. I mean, the moment they went there and allowed themselves to be photographed, and I thought, well, how much are they being paid for this? And quite clearly...
Because let's be real, Meghan has always had her eyes on the spotlight. Hollywood, power, fame, influence. But the Giulianos, they weren't about that life. They wanted Sunday dinners, family roots, stability, old school values. Two worlds, hers and theirs, that could never coexist peacefully in the same house.
The media think that Harry could get any woman he wanted. Well, he might have been able to initially get a girl into bed once or twice.
And when two worlds like that crash into each other, you get fireworks. Rumors say it wasn't just a short-lived teen romance, it might have been a marriage with consequences. A child quietly, discreetly, swept under the rug.
It's Disney today and some sort of butter spread tomorrow. I mean, that's the trajectory they're on. But they're going to have to earn some money.
Now, teenage marriages aren't unheard of. They happen. They burn bright, fizzle out, and the courts quietly dissolve them. Usually, you can find those records buried in some dusty courthouse. No big deal. But Meghan's supposed marriage? Oh no, that one's different. Reports say her annulment wasn't just filed, it was sealed. Why? What could possibly be so scandalous about a teenage mistake that it needed to be hidden like a state secret? Why slam the door shut so tight that no one can even peek inside? Legal experts have chimed in, and they all say the same thing. Sealing an annulment, that's rare. It usually only happens if minors are involved, or if someone's desperate to erase the past. And in Meghan's case, critics say it wasn't about protecting a teenager, it was about protecting her future. And oh, the timeline. It lines up almost too perfectly with whispers of a pregnancy. By mid-1995, neighbors in the Giuliano household were murmuring about a baby. Coincidence or cause and effect? Because here's the real kicker. If it was just a silly teen mistake, why not let it sit quietly in the records like everyone else's? Why go that extra mile to seal it forever? Why erase an entire chapter of your life unless you're terrified of what it reveals? Every time those sealed documents come up, it feels less like privacy and more like concealment. And when someone hides something this hard, it doesn't kill the rumor, it feeds it. That silence doesn't make the whispers go away, it makes them louder. From 1994 to 1995, Meghan Markle's timeline just vanishes. One moment she's graduating from Immaculate Heart High School. The next, she's magically appearing at Northwestern University. And that entire gap in between, nothing. No passport stamps, no travel photos, no OMG backpacking with friends in Europe stories, nothing. Zilch. Her classmates share photos of their own adventures, group shots, airport pics, college prep, and Meghan, not a single trace. People call it the black hole year. And for good reason, because in the world of celebrity storytelling, missing years aren't accidents. They're erased. And when something's erased that deliberately, you've got to ask yourself, why? What really filled that year? Was it really a cute European trip? Or was it something far more secret? A teenage marriage? A sealed annulment? A baby no one ever mentioned? A baby? The math doesn't add up. And when math doesn't add up, the internet investigates. Online sleuths dig through archives like digital detectives, piecing together every scrap of her history, every missing record, every unexplained move. And every time they do, that gap year looks less like a pause and more like a cover story. Every family has that one story, the one everyone whispers about but never says out loud, the secret that sits at the dinner table but never gets mentioned. For Meghan Markle, that story isn't just a rumor. It might be the missing piece to her mysterious black hole year. Vanity Fair once tried to fact-check Meghan's story, to really fact-check it. They sent out their top researchers, even contacted people who were supposedly linked to her through distant family ties, and guess what? They couldn't confirm a single thing. Not one word. The Giuliano name kept floating around like smoke. Impossible to hold, impossible to ignore. A family that carried shadows, quiet whispers that never reached headlines. In their neighborhood, everyone seemed to know something, but nobody ever dared to say it aloud. A hush-hush event, a quiet scandal, the kind of thing that explained why people moved suddenly, why some relatives avoided cameras, and why certain chapters of Meghan's life just vanished. And that's where the Giuliano connection becomes the ultimate enigma. Because whenever someone tries to dig too deep, doors close, calls stop being returned, neighbors suddenly don't remember, that kind of silence, it's not forgetfulness, it's fear. The whispers go like this. During that missing gap year, Meghan wasn't in Paris. She wasn't journaling in Madrid. She was tucked away, hidden in plain sight, staying under the radar while a powerful, old-fashioned family handled a secret that couldn't see daylight. Was it a rushed wedding? A pregnancy? A financial mess that needed to be handled behind closed doors? Whatever it wasn't the dreamy self-discovery year Meghan's PR machine keeps selling. And it's wild, because while she calls it a gap year, there's zero proof she ever left the US. Not a single passport stamp, no friends tagging along, no photos, no journals, no nothing. When Vanity Fair checked, it wasn't just silence, it was like that entire year had been deleted and the internet noticed. That's when the term black hole year exploded across gossip forums, Reddit threads, and TikTok timelines. People were obsessed, not just with what happened, but why Meghan worked so hard to erase it. It's ironic, isn't it? The woman who built her brand on telling her truth might be hiding the biggest truth of all. Every rumor about that sealed annulment just kept growing. And the more Meghan stayed silent, the more people started to believe that silence wasn't protecting privacy. It was protecting power. Fast forward a few years, Meghan begins climbing Hollywood's slippery ladder. First as a suitcase girl on Deal or No Deal, then small acting gigs, then finally, Suits. She was on her way, and for a moment it looked like her past had finally stayed buried. But oh, the internet never forgets. That missing year didn't disappear. It evolved. It became legend. Online detectives started doing the digital equivalent of a tabloid investigation. Every yearbook photo, every graduation timeline, every public record. Forums became archives of obsession, people comparing old photos, mapping flight paths, even digging into the Giuliano family tree. Because the question never went away, where was Meghan in 1994 to 1995? The more they found, the stranger it all seemed. Her classmates had photos from graduation trips, from college prep programs, all with their own timelines accounted for. But Meghan? She was missing from everything. Her absence screamed louder than words. And then, she met Prince Harry. Suddenly, this wasn't just celebrity gossip anymore. It was royal history in the making. The moment Meghan entered the royal orbit, every whisper from her past turned radioactive. The tabloids smelled blood. The palace? Panic. Because what if the fairy tale Duchess had a chapter so dark it could stain the monarchy itself? The so-called black hole year transformed overnight into a potential royal scandal. It wasn't just an internet mystery now. It was a security threat. If even a fragment of that rumor, teenage marriage, secret child, sealed records, ever came out, it could have shaken Buckingham Palace to its core. Behind the scenes, palace aides reportedly worked overtime. They scrubbed Meghan's bio, polished timelines, and oh-so-gently redirected journalists away from that missing year. Anyone who asked too many questions suddenly found their access cut off. Coincidence? Maybe, but as one royal insider once whispered, when silence becomes policy, it's no longer about protection, it's about preservation. Because here's the hard truth, Meghan's brand isn't just personal, it's political. The Duchess who claimed transparency, who cried in interviews about honesty, might be sitting on a secret that could rewrite everything. And when someone builds their career on truth, but buries a whole chapter of their life, that's not just hypocrisy, that's dangerous. Because credibility in the royal world isn't just about image, as it's currency. Now imagine this. After years of speculation one day, a woman in her late 20s comes forward with photos, birth records, proof, a claim that she's Meghan Markle's daughter. Can you even imagine? The internet would literally melt down overnight. It wouldn't just be gossip, it'd be global chaos. At that point, it wouldn't be about who's right or wrong, it'd be about the fact that the royal family, already rocked by scandal after scandal, might have hidden the biggest one yet. And the irony? Meghan, the woman who vowed to speak her truth, silenced by the one truth she never dared to admit. Every scandal has a breaking point, and Meghan Markle's silence? It's been cracking for nearly 30 years, because secrets, no matter how deep you bury them, leak. A sealed annulment, a hidden record, a quiet rumor that refuses to die. All it takes is one photo, one cousin ready to talk, one document that slips through the cracks, and the entire fairy tale collapses. The thing about silence is, it looks solid until it shatters. And Meghan's missing year? It's already webbed with fractures. Chicago whispers, vanished timelines, digital detectives connecting dots she swore didn't exist. If that truth ever bursts open, it won't just destroy an image, it'll rewrite royal history. Because this isn't just about Meghan Markle, the actress or Duchess, it's about what happens when the truth finally outruns the story. Maybe she really was sipping coffee in Paris. Maybe it was love, loss, and a secret she could never face. But if that hidden year ever sees daylight, the world won't be asking, what did Meghan do? They'll be asking, what else has she hidden? And that is the secret she can never outrun.